What's up, y'all? This is Tressie.
And this is Cedric, and we're Through the Crate.
Digging through cultural and current events through the hip-hop lens. Let's get to it.
Nice. That was a good one.
Thanks. You're not going to do it?
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, guys.
You know what I was talking about. There it was. Hey, guys. Anyway, what's up, guys? This is episode 13.
1-3.
So what's going on in hip-hop right now?
I mean, Drake is at it again.
God damn it.
I know, but I figured if we just get it out of the way early, we can talk about it and move on. But
we have to. I get it.
He's the biggest thing right now, and a lot of shit is going on. So if you've been living under a rock and didn't know what was going on most recently with Drake, he's currently been in a small tit for tat with Mr. Joe Budden.
Right, and we've been covering it a little bit. We actually covered a small bit of it on the last episode in the end of episode 12. But yeah, he's been in this little feud.
Going back and forth. Long story short, Joe Budden is pretty pissed off at Drake, so he released 4 diss songs.
Yep.
Drake didn't release any diss songs. He apparently had a verse on one song that started the whole thing.
Right.
But apparently, what started Drake for being angry at Joe initially was Joe Budden's review of his album on Joe's podcast.
Right.
So, okay, now we've got that out of the way. Drake's mad at a podcast. He records a verse. Joe hears the verse, gets pissed off, and records 4 songs.
Puts those 4 songs out. For not for free. No Shopping song comes out.
No Shopping.
The Pump Pump Puppet line aimed at Joe Budden. What else happens after that?
And then
Drake DMs.
Well, before that, Drake made a comment at a show.
Oh yeah. We covered that already too. So made a comment at a show, and then
there were some DMs going on.
DMs happened between Joe Budden and Drake, where Drake is DMing him, basically saying you need help, and then what else happened after that? That's
pretty much
the
that's
beef.
pretty much where it had been left.
Right.
Since then, Drake has gone on to just continue to be the Teflon man who can have nothing hurt him ever,
right?
And just say whatever the fuck he wants. He made a comment also on his tour that he's going on now. I feel like this is going to be a very interesting summer. He's making a lot of stops on this tour.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to have shit to say everywhere he goes. So he's in New York. And he starts talking about very famous New York DJ.
Yes. Funkmaster Flex. We alluded to this at the end of the 12th episode, yeah.
And he pretty much says, what have you guys done for New York? This is the Summer Jam. Talking shit about Hot 97. And then, Flex went on and told his stories. One of the issues that had originally pissed off Drake, I guess, about the Hot 97 was when Ebro made the comment about... Was it Ebro?
Yeah, it was Ebro.
Who made the comment about him possibly having something for Eminem.
Right. It was a jokingly joke comment where I think we all also covered that in the last episode too. But yeah, it was a joke comment saying like, oh, what if Eminem steps up and he's got bars for you? Drake was like, well, I got bars for him too. On some rapper shit.
The internet exploded.
Right.
Internet exploded. Took it and ran with it. And then Drake takes a stop in Detroit. Summer 16 tour. And guess what happens?
He brings out Eminem. Yep. Eminem performs Rap God on stage with Drake.
It was a good time, apparently, if you were there.
The crowd like erupted and went crazy. Like the videos that are out there, you can't even really listen to, like hear what kind of song it is, but you can tell.
Yeah, it was.
Rap
they were
God.
performing the song from the old Drake song. I may not seem nothing to y'all.
Oh yeah.
But understand nothing.
Oh, I thought he performed. Oh, that's the one that they performed.
Because he did. That's the song they have together. Mm-hmm. So he did his verse on that.
Oh yeah, he did. You know what? That's right. It sounded like Rap God. My bad. I'm a loser for that. Go ahead.
Not a loser. It's okay. We all still love you.
Hope so.
So anyway, it's interesting on a number of levels. It's interesting because, one, apparently they were supposed to be having this beef, this made up beef. So it's hushing all those rumors. Like, this was all bullshit. It was bullshit, and people read into it.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. To me, it's like why would we even bring up the fact that they don't have a beef anymore? They never had one. They never had one. Like, that was nothing.
It was all fake.
If you're a real hip hop fan, you know that Eminem was never gonna have bars for Drake, and real men fight their own battles. Joe will go at Drake. Drake will go at Joe. Eminem has nothing to do with it. Boom.
It is interesting.
Now, yeah.
It is interesting that Eminem is technically Joe Budden's boss.
Yeah, but they're also homies,
So, if you guys didn't realize this, Slaughterhouse, which is a group that Joe Budden is a part of, is signed to Shady Records. Mm-hmm. Shady Records is run by Slim Shady. So, your boss is on stage pretty much co-signing and taking pictures on Instagram and posting them with somebody that you're supposed to be not on speaking terms with, or not in good standings with.
Right.
Which, when it comes to Joe Budden, it's like, who really cares? But when it comes to Drake, he's not doing this shit on accident.
No, he's calculated.
This is not on accident, and that's why I'm very curious to see what happens throughout the rest of this tour. There's a lot of cities he's going to.
Right. There's a lot more that can happen. That's where you start to think about what is going on here. I've heard. So what I think about is what's going on here with Eminem, what's going on with Slaughterhouse, what's going on with Joe. Because I think about some of the things that I've heard Joe say. People ask him oh, so what's going on with Slaughterhouse? And he's like, Slaughterhouse isn't doing anything right now. Everyone's working on their own shit. So that could allude to something as well. Okay. I mean, inquiring minds want to know. If you don't say something about it, then we're gonna have to let our own imagination take it to where we want it to go.
For sure.
But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Views from the Joe, they take a picture together like that. Is he shitting on your man? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Eminem, are you shitting on your boy Joe, or are you guys even boys like that? What's going on?
I mean, who knows? And throughout this whole thing between Joe and Drake, I've been firmly in Joe's corner, because I felt like Joe came with bars, and Drake is just Drake, and he's kind of annoying at this point, to be very honest.
And right. So one thing I want to get clear is that it's not that I don't like Drake's music. Drake can put out some good music.
He can.
And then I also don't want to be that fan that's like, man, I knew you when you were in comeback season.
Right.
I don't want to be that fan that's like, I hate you because you blew up. Because that's what you're supposed to do as a rapper. Or you're supposed to move the culture forward by becoming more,
Who wants to be underground forever?
Exactly. You're not supposed to be underground forever. But so with that said, Drake the oversaturation is what makes it unbearable.
Yeah.
That's where it goes. So I just wanted to say we're not trying to hate on Drake. We're not being it's just we can't get away from it. Sometimes we want to look at something else. Well, sometimes we want to see something else.
It's everywhere.
It's I try to maneuver around this fucking big, huge semi of a Drake that this guy is, and it's a double orange,
you can't do
2-lane road. I can't do it.
You can't get over the line.
I can't. So anyway,
I mean, moving along, right?
Right.
I think we should double back to Joe Budden, because he had an interview.
A very interesting interview.
Very interesting interview on Hot 97. And again, like I was telling you guys, I was firmly in Joe's corner when this whole beef thing was going on. And then this interview came out, and he had spoken on the Drake issue before. And the last time I saw him do it on it was on another podcast, that Charlemagne's podcast.
Brilliant
Idiots. He seemed a little confrontational then, but I was still kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt, even in that interview. But then this one on Hot 97, It's really hard to give Joe the benefit of the doubt when you watch the interview in its entirety and you see how it progresses.
Yeah.
How defensive he gets, and then how upset he gets. He ends up walking out at the end.
Yep.
And it's just like, when people who know Joe are telling you, like, this isn't the Joe that I know.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Joe Buttons that I've known for all these years. And
that I'm familiar with.
Not at all. So I almost feel kind of sorry for the dude, you know, because they even took his phone and they checked to make sure, okay, are the DMs that we got from Drake legit? Like, or is that real shit? And it was confirmed.
So so this whole thing, like, it's very interesting, like the way this whole interview played out. Like, well, just to give you guys some backstory, Rosenberg and Joe, like the whole Joe's whole podcast started because of Rosenberg,
which I didn't know. I learned that on that interview.
Yeah. So I knew that because Rosenberg actually was trying to, because I actually listened to Rosenberg's One Ep. They have their own. They were like literally like the first hip hop podcast, like to talk about hip hop at all. They were before Rap Radar. They were before Drink Champs. I think they were even before Combat Jack. So like they've been having theirs for like 6 years or some shit like that. It's been a long time. They've had plenty of guests and stuff like that on there. So I think what Rosenberg was trying to do was trying to like make this like network of podcasts, and like, you know, with Joe he used to have his like radio stuff and everything, like that would be great.
Right.
So he was actually the man behind the boards when it came to their podcast for the first like few episodes. If you go listen back, you'll see like he was the one that was there. So it's very interesting to see that that's what their whole relationship is built on. You know, like not built on, but just to prove that like he had a hand in this. And one thing, we're just gonna hop all around this fucking interview. But one thing I wanted to point out is that when he goes, "Oh, so you showed a rapper a studio he could work in."
Right.
You want to call yourself a rapper when you're doing a podcast, but when you say some shit about Drake's album, you're not a rapper, you're a podcaster? Come on, bruh. Contradicting.
Right. So he's trying to pick and choose when it's convenient to be a rapper and when it's convenient to be a podcaster.
Yep.
So what had happened is
what had happened was
in the interview, Rosenberg had said that, "Yo, Joe, why are you shitting on the people who help you?"
Yep.
And Joe's like, "You didn't help me." He's like, "Did I not hook you up with a studio?" And Joe's like, "You showed a rapper a studio? Well, what's the big deal? I'm a rapper.
It's a free studio at that." And he goes, "I'm a rapper. You think I can't find a free studio?"
But you didn't.
But you used Rosenberg's.
Right. So, you know.
And then also, like, you're still not recognizing the fact, like Joe's still not recognizing the fact that he actually helped start that podcast.
Right.
Like, the only reason why that shit got off the ground is because of him.
So he sounds delusional.
Yeah, he sounds completely delusional.
Completely
He sounds like a baby, like a big baby, like temper tantrum. Like, I want it my way. You can't have like you know what I'm saying? Like,
but he could be on drugs. There could be something going on, you know. Rosenberg made a good point because he, you know, this is actually someone who knows him. Mm-hmm. You know, outside of all this. So when he's like, did you notice he's got all new people around him?
Yeah. New
manager, like new crew.
Yep.
Like, that's not signs of a healthy person. Especially when you're shitting on the people that you do know and you do have relationships with. Mm-hmm. And you've got a whole new staff. It's like, so what's really going on? Like what's the root cause?
Like, what's the reason for, well then, like, I don't want to say like the only reason for, like, or like if you get new people, then it's a bad thing. Like, it's not always a bad thing, but in this situation, that's what it seems like, because he's shitting on the people that actually cares about him.
Right. And he's got all these people who are just going along with whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it seems like. We're not on the inside.
Right, we're not.
But like, just judging from that interview, he looked completely flustered towards the end of it, and I think that's the reason why he walked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very fluid conversation in the beginning. Like they
Yeah.
were all like they didn't even address the issues about Marissa Mendez or Rosenberg until after the whole Drake Eminem thing or whatever.
I mean, towards the end, like towards right before he got up and left, they were being some assholes to him. They were kind of pushing him.
Like when? I'm trying to remember.
Like right before he walked out, they just kind of started treating his ass, like going back and forth.
Well, because he started being an asshole too. Like once you start getting to be a dickhead, they gotta fight
and it's
back.
like, this is our
and
show.
also, Ebro is really good at being a dickhead. So I don't know.
It was entertaining as fuck. I enjoyed it.
It was very fun to watch that awkward ass ending of an interview, and then to see how passionate that.
Rosenberg was at the end. It was almost like he was about to fucking cry.
Yeah, and I was gonna say he's normally super sensitive and super like backtracky sometimes. Like, well, the thing that I actually respect and hate about Rosenberg all in one like breath is the fact that he will say something, and if he's wrong, he'll backtrack. That's a great trait and a bad trait because he does it all the time.
You pretty much, you can just say anything and then well, sorry guys.
Right. So that's one thing that's. Like, I like the fact that he'll admit that he's wrong. But another thing is that, like, you do that too much. But one thing that I liked about this interview is that he didn't back down. You know what I'm saying? And, like, he could have easily backed down because he's a little bitch when it comes to shit like this. Like, I love watching Rosenberg because of how big of a hip-hop head he is. Him and Cypher Sounds, like, that's why I used to love listening to Juan Ep and all that stuff. But yeah, that was just a very interesting ending to see how sensitive Rosenberg was, but I'm really happy that he didn't back down and that he continued to drill away with his points and make sure that, you know, he got his point across, you know?
Yeah. You know, I do feel bad for Joe. You know, after watching that, it kind of puts a lot of the things that have happened up until now in a little bit better context. You know, like even when when the Drake fans ran up on him and he chased them down the street, you know, and he went back to the guy's house. Those guys were some assholes, yes, but I mean, that's kind of weird that he was chasing after these random fans, you know.
No, I don't think that's weird at all.
I think it adds to the weirdness of
I think the weird part
thing.
is that he went to the house after. But I don't think it's weird that he, like, you have these kids that are running up on you, like, saying, like, and you from the hood? Like, to me, I think that's not that.
I mean, at first I was totally in his corner, but after seeing that end and being like, whoa, maybe he's not all there.
Nah, I'm in his corner when it comes to those kids.
Nah.
I'm in his corner 100% when it comes to those kids because one thing that was super fucked up about those kids is that you guys think that, like, the dude was on Twitter the whole fucking time. We were able to watch that shit, quote unquote, in real time. And we shouldn't be able to see that. Like, why are you over there harassing someone?
Agree.
Like, you're harassing these kids. Then these kids, I mean, he's sitting there shouting out his goddamn Twitter handle to Joe, saying, "Follow me, bruh," and they're using the N-word too. I know these motherfuckers ain't black.
They're not.
You talking about nigga? This, like, nah, bruh. Like, don't like, who do you think you are? So then it becomes an issue of, I'm not even gonna go there right now. Then Drake follows these kids, so that's an encouragement for them. He follows them on Twitter, and then also these kids get an interview, unfortunately, on Massapil.
Yep.
Massapil, because they sit down with them. So it's like you're making this type of interaction seem like it's okay.
Wow.
Seem like you can become famous off of it. That's not cool.
By running up on a freaking celebrity.
On a celebrity. And Joe Budden, we all know that he's crazy regardless of if he's on drugs or not.
Oh, yeah.
Homeboy is sensitive.
He's always been.
He's
like
crazy. That. He will do something. So I don't understand why they thought that it was okay for him to just run up on him. Like, he ain't no regular ass nigga.
I'm not condoning what those kids did.
But
that was ridiculous. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% on your side in the kids' actions. I'm not 100% on the side of Joe Budden's reaction to it.
his reaction, but to me, I kind of am, because I can understand. I guess I understand it. Like, I would run up on somebody. Like, if you're, like, to me, that's threatening. Like, you're threatening me. Like, you like, bitch, like you coming up to me in my car, and you running up on me. Like, nah, bro. Like,
so would you chase a random car down the street?
I mean,
like,
maybe
they're off your property. Would you continue to follow them off your property?
Okay, I see
you know
what
I'm
you're
saying. Would
getting
you
at.
follow them home?
He didn't follow them home. He
saw the car again and followed it.
Yeah, he followed it down the street, came with the rocks, boom, boom, boom. That was it. And then after, like, I want to say like a day or something later, he goes to their house. He didn't follow them home. At least that's not what I saw.
Okay, I mean, he went to their house.
But I get what you're saying.
So if there's a heckler at your crib, get him off your crib and then go about your business.
Mm-hmm.
He pursued them
outside
of his home. So, if you guys don't know the law, if someone is on your property and they're coming at you, you can legally shoot and kill them.
Is that everywhere?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It's called self-defense, defending your property. Okay? Mm-hmm. But if they're off your property or if they're running away from your property,
it becomes assault.
Then you become culpable for any harm that comes to them.
So he was threatening them. So yeah, I get what you're saying too. Is like why did he continue to pursue?
He kept it going.
He shouldn't have continued.
He got
to
so
pursue.
worked up. He was like, no, there needs to be closure to this.
Yeah.
Fuck these kids.
Yeah, I agree with you in that. Like in the mindset of like where was he going?
Right.
But then but me, I'm a lot more calm headed. Like I probably like if somebody cuts me off, I'm not following them.
Right.
On the freeway.
Joe
like,
Budden would.
Exactly right.
Somebody cuts off Joe Budden. What? Boom.
Out of there. But yeah. So I guess it's kind of interesting that a lot of people are saying, like Drake says it in the DMs, like, dude, I hope you're okay.
Right.
Rosenberg is saying it in this interview, like,
right.
Like he doesn't seem okay. I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it now. And he was emotional, and I'm pretty sure that's probably. I hope that's not like a shot, like a below the belt punch, because everyone always says that he's on drugs just because we all knew that he did do drugs. But another thing that I want to say is that he's been hanging out with Sin Santana a lot. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she was on Love and Hip Hop. She dated Erica Mena. And now she's like this Love and Hip Hop star type of, one of them chicks.
Yeah.
So now, he's in these. So he's been hanging out with this girl, and like he's hanging out with new people, and there's all new people around him, as we've heard through that interview, and we know that he's gotten rid of Marissa Mendez from the podcast, and Marissa Mendez has been riding with Joe for a long time. And then he's also got all these new people around him, and there's new people on the podcast. There's this another person named Ice that I've never heard on the podcast before. So they've been talking about like drinks and like been out drinking and partying and stuff like that. And they've talked about that before, but it just seems like a different tone now.
Got it.
And so like all of those things is like, that's what's making me think like, you know what? The narrative is changing now.
Right.
Like this is becoming something different. So that's very interesting to think about. Like maybe Joe is becoming the person that how am I going to put this? Joe is becoming or maybe becoming the person that he thought that Drake was becoming. Someone that's like he's depressed, or someone's that like uninspired and like alone and stuff like that. And now Joe's becoming that person even more.
And it's fucked up, because we're spending all this time talking about his actions. We're not talking about his music.
Yep. Who's listening to Joe's music?
He has a new song out.
The Flex song?
Yeah, did you hear it?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It sounds okay. It's like a Joe Budden song. That's the thing, is that Joe Budden makes specific music to specific fans. You know what I'm saying?
So what I thought was interesting about this single he put out was that there was Mr. Tory Lanez on it.
Yeah.
Tory Lanez is clearly not a Drake fan.
Mm-mm.
But he's still. I'm pretty sure that was intentional.
Well, Joe Budden has actually been a Tory Lanez fan for a long time. Like they joke about it on the podcast, like how he's in love with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
the timing of the single. They put a video out. They spent money on a video for this single with Tory Lanez on it.
Well, of course they're gonna do that with the. I mean, yeah, that's a calculation there. That makes sense. That's good business.
But the song's just okay though. I mean,
it's not terrible, but it's not the best.
Yeah, it's alright.
You know what I did listen to by Tory Lanez?
What's that?
That Controller remix.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Is it good?
Dude, so much better than Controller, the real one.
Really?
To me, I think so.
Oh, see, I'm not a huge Tory Lanez fan.
I'm not either, but I listened to that and I was like, fuck, I gotta listen to Tory Lanez. You know? Yeah. Okay. He did really good. Like, I think he wrote that thing better. He changed everything was just better about it to me.
Okay. Was it singing better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same. Like, I'm not saying that Tory Lanez can sing like his ass off. It's the same. Like, he sings better than Drake with auto-tune.
Got it.
Like, his auto-tune is better than Drake's auto-tune, but they're similar. Like, when like they like say like, I don't even know how to explain it, but they have very similar ways of singing.
Okay. They're both from Toronto.
Yeah. Did you also hear that Party Next Door? We're just gonna go on tangents off tangents. Tangents on tangents on tangents, tangents on tangents. That band.
I did not.
Sorry.
I did not listen to the Party Next Door. I don't really like the Party Next Door because his songs are so slow.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't listen to the whole project, but I listened to a couple of songs. Not Nice, or No Nice. I think it's Not Nice. It's literally like a Views reject. I think everybody's even saying that, and I'm not saying that's an original. It's an original thought, but not an original saying. I listened to that song and I was like, this literally sounds like Drake did not want this and said, "Here, Party, you can put it on yours." Like the OVO sweatshop denied that one or whatever. Like the OVO managers.
Oh, you can keep this one, Party.
Yeah, this one's great for you.
Right.
I mean, they should have let him keep. It's about us right now, girl. Where you going? I'm with you.
So, Party Next Door did a an interview recently, and he was quoted in the interview saying, he doesn't get as much satisfaction of writing songs for other people.
I think I saw that headline. I didn't get to read the article.
He was specifically referencing the Work song that he made for Rihanna featuring Drake. Not necessarily saying he's writing a bunch of songs for Drake. He was talking specifically about Work. Mm-hmm. He said Work was actually a breakup song that he wrote. It was not even like this happy song. Like it was originally a breakup song. Probably about Kehlani, but anyway. It's just, what I wonder what it's like to spend a day in the life of Party Next Door. Someone who's been a lot more influential in the industry than that a lot of mainstream people may not understand.
Right.
Or casual fans may not understand.
Right.
They may not know that, hey, this guy is Drake. Like,
I think that's another. Sorry, go ahead.
He pretty much is Drake. He's pretty much helped mold this sound that Drake has used over and over and over again.
And I think that's what's like the luster or whatever. That's what's making me shy away from Drake, or that's what's making me like get away from him. Is like there's nothing that's authentic about him anymore. Like, what am I supposed to look to when I see him? Like, I can even talk to you about, they just put out the Why You Always Hatin' video with YG and Drake and featuring Kamaya from Oakland. That's what's up.
Bing, bing, the town.
But like the way he was riding around in the Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever the fuck that thing was.
Car we'll never afford.
Yeah, exactly. A car that we won't be able to purchase anytime soon. But like his movements, like they were Bay movements.
Because he knows.
Like, but because it's also a mustard beat, and we already know. I'm not even gonna go into that.
Right.
But it was just like, dude, you are super. Just a poser. Like, it kills me.
Silver Surfer. Riding waves.
Max B. Anyway.
Yeah. So no, I didn't listen to Party Next Door, and even for this podcast, I will not listen to the Party Next Door.
Unless we have to. Unless I'd be like, yo, listen to Party Next Door so we
Yeah.
can go into it. But if we go into Party Next Door, then we're going into Drake, and I can
I'm
deal
cool.
with that.
I'm cool, bro.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, since we're talking about
Let's
new
bring
stuff,
the energy up again. I feel like
did you listen to Shrem Life too?
oh, energy up right there, just right here, Shrimp Life. Yes, I did.
What'd you think? Did you
So-
like it? Did you love it?
Did I want some more of it? So I actually had some notes here. Let's see. Let me look. I'm not gonna say I loved it, but I liked it.
Like liked it or just didn't hate it?
I didn't hate it, and it wasn't hard to listen to.
Okay.
Very interesting, right? So I'm normally the one that's gonna be like, I hate this kind of shit, whatever. It was not hard to listen to.
Okay.
I was surprised that I thought that it wasn't hard to listen to.
So, what was your mindset going into listening to this Shrimp Life?
I was like, here we go. That was my mindset. Like, that's my mindset every time I have to listen to something I don't want to wouldn't normally listen to. Gucci, all that other stuff.
Right.
So, but I went into this one and I was like, I was surprised at the musicality of it a little bit, you know? But then I also had to remember this is Mike Will, you know? And he knows what he's doing when it comes to that. I thought their voices were like super fun and hype. But of course they're not saying anything of substance.
For sure.
It's party music. You don't need to say anything of substance when it's party music. If you don't want to.
First song is like how to start a party.
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. Some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or start a party. Some shit like that. Yeah.
Right. And if you've ever seen these guys in concert, like, they're super hype. Like, they're jumping around the whole entire time.
They're like two super skinny little guys bouncing around stage.
Right. And and it's basically just constant party, which is something that you could probably appreciate if you are younger. We've already established in the last episode that we are old heads, so you know. And then on the song "Real Chill," so I've noticed kind of that they are paying homage to the older OGs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I saw one. They said, so I hope this is a pay. I don't even know what this one is. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you like this. So on the song called "Real Chill," they say a young nigga so superb, a cool herc on this earth. And so when I heard that, I was like, the fuck? They don't know shit about no DJ Cool Herc. So I was like, I hope they're like talking about like the Greek mythology, like Hercules shit, like a cool Herc on this earth, like Hercules maybe. But I'm just like, the fuck are you talking about?
It's probably Hercules.
I hope it. Well, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, but even if they are talking about DJ Cool Herc, how does that reference fit in there? You know? So I think it might be Greek mythology.
Whoa, I don't know.
You know, but I'm just like, okay, that's funny. And then they say something about Too Short on the album too. Like they mentioned Too Short, and then
again, but
they got Juicy J on the album, who's an OG, and you know what I'm saying. So if you think about it, I'm like, damn, like these are probably the only youngins that are actually paying homage right now. So I got to give them credit for that and respect that. I don't know.
I mean, some of my biggest takeaways, obviously the beats. I mean, freaking, Mike Will just murdered.
Yeah.
All right. I think there was one track he didn't do. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a Mustard track.
Well, Mustard
the one
did
with Little John.
Yeah, that's the one. But there's two tracks on there. Because there's another track on there. I think it's the like introspective one that he didn't produce either.
So, I mean, okay, sonically it sounds pretty good. I mean, the mix is pretty good on it. You know, it sounds good. It's got that good thump. They've got the energy. They actually remind me of like a modern day Yin Yang Twins.
Yes.
Because remember, Yin Yang Twins, they didn't take themselves too seriously.
Nope.
They were never trying to make like revolutionary music, but they still found a way to, push the envelope on things. If you remember, Yin Yang Twins did that, like, "Hey, little shorty, let me whisper in your ear."
Yeah.
When like people started doing that. Like, that was a style that people ran with for like a good 6 months, and then it got old. But they did that, and so I feel like these guys are kind of on the same wavelength, yeah, but then for like the modern times.
Yeah.
And so I won't necessarily say that I liked it. I didn't hate it.
Right.
But I came out of it respecting Sway Lee a lot more.
I was actually going to comment.
This man did every single fucking hook. The other dude just like showed up in the studio and laid down a verse. Like, that was it.
I was actually going to comment on that. So with Slim, I was actually going to say, is Slim Jimmy
Yes.
riding the wave? Because it sounds like Sway Lee is the one that does everything, and he's reportedly
working on a solo project.
Exactly, and like he was all over everything. He's written for Beyonce before, or not? You know what I'm saying? Like they took the melody that he made up for that Formation. I think, song.
Well, that was also Mike Will too.
Mm-hmm. But it was him.
They wrote it together. Right. Yeah.
But it was, his melody.
Yes.
So like things like that. So he's the creative juices probably that gets Slim hype
going. Yeah.
Because Slim was lackluster on this. Like there wasn't a lot from him that I was, looking for. In Sway, like Sway's voice is so much more distinct than his.
Yeah.
And they also actually sound alike, but once Sway gets into his shit, you know what I'm saying? Like you can hear. Yeah. It's up there.
Yeah.
Like he sounds like a little girl, but he's not.
Yeah. No, it's. Yeah, man, Sway Lee. And Sway Lee's also the one that does more features on other people's songs as well. So yeah, he definitely, if anything, if you to get nothing out of Shrimp Life 2, then at least get that, Sway Lee is on to something.
Yeah. You know what else I was thinking about too when I was listening to this?
What's that?
I was like, it's not mumble rap.
It's not mumble rap, no.
So I'm really appreciative of that. And then I had this really random thought. I was like, you know what? I blame Ryan Leslie for mumble rap.
Who?
Ryan Leslie. You remember who Ryan Leslie is?
No.
You're my diamond girl. You're the one I'm a rock on. You're my diamond girl. So anyway, if you don't remember, I can Google him. Google Ryan Leslie right now on your phone. So Ryan Leslie, and this is a stretch. Don't worry. I understand that this is a stretch. Ryan Leslie came out with a song called Gibberish, where the whole song was literally him singing gibberish, like basically laying a melody reference where there's no words, but there's a melody there. And I'm like, that song was so dope and was played seriously. I loved the shit out of gibberish, and I used to try and make my own words to that song. I think he even had people all across the world like actually start doing that on YouTube and stuff. And I was like, you know what? This motherfucker started mumble rap. Because everyone noticed that you can make a song without fucking putting words in it. And I was like, killed the game right there.
Murdered.
Done.
Wow.
I know it's a stretch.
So guys, go ahead and check out Gibberish and see if this man did not invent mumble rap.
And then I want you also to see like how long ago this shit was, because this was like way back in the day.
Like what, 2002?
Nah, bruh. Like this is we were out of high school.
So it ain't that long ago.
It was like, nigga, we've been out of school for at least. Oh shit! How long have we been out of school? 10 years. So, yeah, it's been at least 8 years.
Wow. Okay, I'll definitely check it out.
But anyway, yeah, and it's I can't
Gibberish.
It's something like that.
Wow, there's no words, so it doesn't even matter.
I know, but anyway.
I mean.
Anyways, Shrimp Life 2, not bad. Not mumble rap. Sway Lee's the star. I also wanted to ask you another thing.
Yeah, sure. Shoot.
What do you think about individuality in hip hop? Like, what do you think? What do you think that there is to bring to the table that has not already been brought to hip hop? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, actually, let me put it like this. What do you think about individuality in hip hop, and like in regards to like flows, in regards to like styles and stuff? Because I know we always talk about like Future and Panda and stuff, but recently in the news, like the Migos were getting on at DJ Drama because DJ Drama went on the Breakfast Club and said that the South has been running hip hop for like the last 20 years or whatever, for like it's the longest run that we've seen in our culture. So he said that he wanted to attribute that to Outkast, to Future,
right,
to people like that. And then Migos went out and said, thanks for not putting us in the conversation. There was this whole Twitter battle back and forth. Don't need to go into it.
Right.
But I thought it was pretty interesting that people are talking about still and flows when it comes to Migos and stuff like that, because these are some young dudes that are in the game. But nobody really cares about still and flow. Nobody cares about what you're saying. Nobody, with the mumble rap, with the melodies, with the, what I'm saying? So like the individuality, where's it going? What do you think about that?
So I think now it's at an all-time low.
Duh. Yeah.
Like back in the day, before the internet, if you were gonna get on, if you were gonna get hot, it's because an A&R saw you and liked what they saw, and you stood out from the other 100 freaking demo CDs or tapes that they received.
Yep.
Or because you stood out from a crowd of this fucking open mic where everyone sounded the same. So you kind of had to be an individual before the internet. But now that there is the internet, like...
Sorry, his mic just dropped. It was funny.
You can almost get on by not being an individual. You can almost get on by damn near biting somebody else's complete flow or biting somebody's style.
Right.
So I feel like where we stand now in hip hop, you're not so much rewarded as much as being an individual. But then also on the flip side to that, I think it also opens you up to potentially be able to be more of an individual. It's like this double-edged sword, Yeah. It's like you've got the thing that happened with Future and Designer. Everyone's like, oh, Designer's just biting off of Future. I mean, yeah, obviously, duh, right? Clearly, that's a thing. But then at the same time, you get somebody like, a Travis Scott, who's just like, the fuck is he doing? Or you get, somebody like a Young Thug who I guess people could say was biting off a Lil Wayne.
Yeah, you can definitely say Young Thug would sound like Wayne. Even DJ Drama said it. He said that,
But then it still allows people like, a Lil Yachty to come out and just be like...
Complete trash.
But it's like, what the fuck is he doing? Nobody was doing that before. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Like, nobody was on the mic asleep
right.
before him.
And so it
sound like he's like sleeping on the mic.
It's like it's so weird to me though, because there are these, there are people out there who are really creative, and the internet gives them an medium to put their art out. But then it also makes it easy for you to, find what you like and sit in that lane. So yes, the Migos flow, very popular thing. I don't think Drama did that shit and excluded them on purpose.
Right, exactly. I think
Migos he was just naming people.
Yeah, and then Migos got caught in their feelings.
Quavo specifically got caught in his feelings. Yeah, like, and yeah, I don't think he purposely was like, nah, man, fuck the Migos. Even if you go through the tweets, he was like, yo, I put you guys on. I called you guys out to do a show.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck with you guys. Like, why would I, go through all this if I didn't fuck with you guys? So, I think that he just didn't misspeak. He just was listing names and theirs just didn't come up in the list.
Right. So the reason why I asked that question is because it makes me think about like the hypocrisy I guess that's the word. The hypocrisy that there is in hip hop right now. Like you want, like nobody's doing what you're doing. Like that's what you feel like as a rapper. Like nobody does what I do. Like even when they start to explain like their mixtapes and things like that. Like this is so much different than anything. I got so many different flows. But when you listen to a project, I don't hear anything different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, where's the different flow? Like, how is this one different than the other one? And how's this different from your last project? Like, I don't hear the growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the majority of what people are putting out now, like, you don't hear growth. You don't hear any individuality. And so I understand that, like, yeah, you know, it's at an all-time low and things like that. But it just, I guess it just annoys the shit out of me when somebody like the Migos say, like, give me credit for my flow. But everyone is doing it, you know what I'm saying? But like everyone's flourishing off of it, and you're kind of one of the people that, I don't know.
It's like, why do you feel like you need credit for something that you started? Why don't you just do it better than everybody else?
True, a lot of people say that, but then like if we're gonna, should we start wanting to get credit for our things? Like, because I think that it's legitimate. I guess it is a double. I'm going back and forth in my head like as I think about this, but it's a double-edged sword. I think you're correct with that when it comes to that, because it's like, okay, I want my credit, but that means that I got to make sure that nobody's rapping like me, and I got to go at these niggas next if they rapping like me, because that's what we did in the '90s. Old head, blah blah blah, blah fucking blah.
What we need a hip hop patent office. If there was a hip hop patent office where you would go, you take your flow. And you're like, hey, I like to patent this flow. And they're running through a database. Nah, bro. This is actually 20% Nas, 15% Jay-Z, 30%.
Well, if you have different elements. Sorry, I'm going into your.
No, it's fine. And then you'll get a stamp that says, okay, this is your flow.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, say no.
Like, this is your thing.
Yeah.
But everybody took from somebody.
You're right.
Everybody, like, but nobody's 100% original.
Right. There's nothing that, like, everyone does something now. Like, even when it comes to podcasts, everyone does the same thing. I don't even remember where I was going with this.
Well,
but,
I mean, you know, even back in the day, you know, if we're going back, you know, there were different genres in hip hop back in the 90s, like us old heads.
Yeah.
You know, New York had a very specific sound. You know, California had a very specific sound. West Coast the South had a specific sound. And so I feel like the people who made it out, and the people that when we go back and we think about the most when it comes to the South, when it comes to the West, or when it comes to the East, are the people who were very unique. And not just unique, but you know what? I take that back. It's not even the people who were unique. It was the people who were the best at that thing.
Instead of, you know what? That's what it is.
It's who's the best at this specific thing. So it's like, yeah, amigos, you might have created this flow, but who's doing it the best?
Right.
You know?
And so far, you're not.
It's like, you know, Twista had this thing where he was rapping really fast back in the day.
Right.
You know.
Were they before Bone Thugs?
And that's where I was going. Bone Thugs did this thing where they were rapping really fast. And you know what? There were a bunch of other rappers that you don't remember who were also rapping really fast.
Right.
Because they didn't do it as good as Twista or as Bone Thugs. They didn't make it as big.
And then if you also think about early Jay-Z, his rhyme style was very similar to DOS Effects, I believe. So like everyone takes from something.
Right.
It's just who's doing it the best. And Jay-Z actually wasn't doing that flow, I guess, better than DOS, but because he switched his shit up and he found his own lane. But like you have to take influences from somewhere. It's just like when do the influences stop? It's like your same thing that you had, your same problem that you had with Logic. Like Logic just sounded too much like his influences.
Yeah.
Where was his voice? You know, so it's just I think that's a really interesting question to ask when it comes to, you know, hip hop nowadays. Is that like, don't complain about individuality when you're allowing it to be ripped off.
Yeah.
You know, don't complain about me stealing shit from you if you're not going to do something about it.
I mean, Migos are trying to call motherfuckers out.
Yeah, but like, what else
Not
are you
the
gonna
rappers,
do?
though.
Yeah, you're not calling out rappers. You know, so but that's another thing. I've switched that from being individuality. Like, you know, I switched the whole thing or whatever. Like Migos aren't calling them out for still in the flow. Migos are just calling them out because they were
not giving them credit for it.
But not even, it's not even credit for the flow, just credit for being influential in hip hop.
See.
But I wouldn't even call that influential. I guess you have to.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that Versace song was extremely influential.
Yeah.
Especially once Drake hopped on it.
I really thought we were away from that motherfucker.
Can't help it.
No. You know what? I'm ending it right now.
Can't help it.
Fuck it. We're not talking anymore. He just killed my whole vibe with that.
All right, guys. Well, hey, before you guys go, please make sure to follow us. Please on Instagram. What else are we on?
Instagram, Twitter.
We're on Twitter?
Yeah, we on Twitter.
Oh, we tweet. Cool. Instagram.
I should probably give you that info.
Twitter. We're on SoundCloud. You can. We're on iTunes.
iTunes is the big winner right there. I am really asking everyone that is listening right now, please go to our iTunes page and rate and review us. We need the ratings and reviews to one, know exactly what you guys think and how we're doing. If we need to change anything, you guys can definitely write it there. We are checking those reviews daily. We only have 3 right now, but you know, we're trying to get up there. No, I mean, slow and steady wins the race sometimes, maybe. But we would really, really, really appreciate it if you guys definitely went to iTunes and rate and reviewed our site, our podcast.
Yeah.
Also, your ratings and reviews help us get noticed on iTunes so we can expand our audience. So to all you listeners out there, you want to share us with other people, share us with other people.
Do it.
Treat us like that doorknob so everyone gets a turn.
Everybody.
Or the village bicycle. Everyone gets a ride.
Rides it.
Or that glass of milk. Everyone gets a drink.
Oh, I thought you don't cry about it once it's spilled.
True. This is getting weird. Peace out, motherfucks.
Deuces.